Joining us now is the head football coach of Southeastern University, Adam Waugh. And Coach, welcome to Sports Central.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
I don't think we've had you on this show before, have we? Were you last year?
I came here last year.
Okay.
I think it might have been a different crew.
I must have been out of town.
Yeah.
I was mowing my yard or something.
There you go.
But the interim title has been removed.
Yes.
Now the official head coach of Southeastern University. I don't want you to necessarily have to hit on it too much, but it was a kind of a crazy situation last year. The previous coach had some medical issues, had to step away. You get the interim title right before in the summer, right?
Yep.
Before the season, the
Yes.
fall practice. So just talk about that whole thing, which we do want to report. Previous coach, he's doing good. Things are looking good for him. But talk about that for you, what the season was like, and then what it felt like to get that interim title.
Yes, it's
removed.
been a whirlwind. I'm really going into my third year at SEU. My first year I came as the defensive coordinator. Cesar Rivas was the previous head coach that hired me on, and I was very happy being the defensive coordinator. And then unfortunately he had a health scare and I had to step down in the summertime. And I remember we held our Zoom with the team where I was named interim head coach because everybody was home for the summer. We held a Zoom call at the beginning of July, about a month before the season started, and I had a lot on my plate all of a sudden, and I was doing double duty last year as the interim head coach and was also the defensive coordinator. So we were a little short-staffed. We were short an O-line coach, so it was an interesting year, and I learned a lot about myself and about our kids and about our program. But it was fun too, and I really enjoyed it. I think SEU is a wonderful place. I don't really envision myself coaching anywhere else at this point. And then, we had an okay year. We went 6-4. Started off really strong at 4-0, and then kind of hit a few bumps and along the way, but then finished strong as well. So after the season, Drew Watson, our athletic director, named me permanent head coach, and I was excited to accept it, and here we are. So really, I've only been the permanent head coach here for a little over half a year. So we're trying to put our stamp on the program and see how we want to do things. And we've had to hire a number of coaches, and we've gone through a full recruiting cycle with me as the head coach, and so we're having a lot of fun. So it's good.
Absolutely. So, Coach, congratulations for having that interim tag removed.
Thank you.
I know you'll do great things at SEU for sure. But you mentioned you were a defensive coordinator,
Yes.
And your first year with SEU. I'm assuming you're defensive-minded
Yes.
brand of football that you're going to bring to SEU as the head coach. So talk to us about how important it is knowing that you're the defensive mind to even the playing field, so to speak, and bring in people like your new offensive coordinator to implement the offensive side.
Yeah, I feel comfortable with our defensive staff. We've been together for a couple of years now, so I think there's some continuity there. And we probably needed some work on offense, and we lost our offensive coordinator to another school in this offseason. So we had kind of a national search, and I wanted to find the guy that I felt really comfortable with, that I could just say, you take the offense and run with it. I don't want to have to oversee that. Because that's not my specialty, honestly. So we found, I got in touch with Mike Canales, who, funny coincidence, my dad was a longtime coach, and he and Coach Canales coached together at the University of Pacific about 25 years ago. So I'd known Mike through the years, just casually as an acquaintance through my dad, and he was up at Bethune-Cookman last year as the offensive coordinator. They went through a coaching change, and through a common friend, we got in touch, and I said, Mike, you'd be interested in coming down to Southeastern. He said, yeah, I really want to stay in Florida. He wants this to kind of be his last job, so he came down. And like everybody who comes on campus at SEU, he's like, this place is great. It's a beautiful campus, beautiful facilities, and a lot of great resources. And one thing led to another, and we were able to get him. He's got a wonderful resume. He came here from Bethune. He'd been at Maryland before that, University of Tennessee. Wow. He's coached with the New York Jets. I mean, his resume is unbelievable for small college football. And so that's great. But more importantly, he's a good man, and he fits the Christian mission of our school, and the kids love him so far. So it's been really good.
So are you going to continue with defensive coordinator, or did you name someone else?
So we promoted William Henry, who'd been our defensive backs coach the last 2 years. He's a good coach, good friend of mine, very detailed guy, and had no hesitancy in promoting him to defensive coordinator. So now I'm kind of trying to be the administrative head coach, which is there's a lot on my plate.
Well, these days you almost have to do that. I mean, you see a lot of the really good play callers in college football that are head coaches that are giving that up.
I think it's very hard.
It's tough
I think it's
to
very
get your
hard.
finger on everything in the program.
I'm amazed. I'm constantly amazed at what comes across my desk as the head coach. Stuff about what time the cafeteria opens, or somebody got in trouble, or some kid got a parking ticket. So there's so many things to deal with a program. We have 130 players, so dealing with all the issues that they have on campus and all their needs. I really have found that I have to delegate some of the football duties, which is unfortunate because I got into the business to coach football, and sometimes I feel like I'm a little distant from the X's and O's, which I miss, but the guys that are doing it now for our program are doing a great job.
Well, when you get to the fifth overtime, you'll know who all the pressure is squarely on.
Yeah, that's right. No doubt. It'll be there.
Because they're looking at you to make the call.
For sure.
Well, that's great. Tell us about this year's team. You said last year's team, 6-4, your first recruiting cycle, but obviously players that you were connected to. It's always good to try to name one of the assistants that's currently on the team, because those relationships with the kids who are already in the program. So talk to us about that and what you're looking for this year.
Okay. I think we're really excited about the year. I think it remains to be seen how successful we're going to be. I'm kind of out of the prediction business after 22 years of coaching. Some years I thought we were going to be really good and we weren't, and vice versa. So I'm kind of out of that business, but I feel really good about our team. Our retention level is really good. Last year, coming into the season, we had more newcomers than we had returning players. And that's very hard culturally because you have to integrate a bunch of new kids into the program. It's very difficult. And there wasn't a ton of leadership. This year, we have that number's flipped. So we have a much higher number of returners and not as many newcomers. So I think we're trending the right direction with kids that are invested in our program and what we're trying to build, which is great, because nowadays in college football, kids come and go all the time. The transfer portal's wide open and kids are always moving to different schools. So we're really excited that kids are choosing to stay at SEU and play their careers here, and we're excited about that. We like our recruiting class. We've tried to focus a little bit on Polk County with some of the new recruits. The football's so good here, and we're trying to convince kids to stay home and go to college here. We signed a kid this year. Signed a kid from Lakeland, a kid from Victory Christian, a kid from Lake Gibson. So we're trying to make inroads there. Our running back coach, Kenny Strong, is actually a longtime Lakeland assistant and then was the head coach at Kathleen High School. So a big part of his hire was to help us in Polk County recruiting. So, but back to the team, I think we're going to be strong in some areas. We have better quality depth than we've had before. We're trying to find a quarterback, which a lot of people are doing right now. So there's kind of a battle going on for that. But we feel good about our chances of having a competitive team.
We talked earlier, Neal, about the importance of continuity, not only from a coaching perspective with Coach Waugh's staff, naming your new defensive coordinator who was an assistant, but talking about the roster makeup and that continuity from your newcomers last year, staying home, so to speak, with your program, and the outlook now for the upcoming season with that continuity is bright. It certainly sounds like.
Yeah, and I think it is, and I think our goals are to be to compete for the conference championship every year. And then if we compete for the conference championship, we'll have a chance to get into the postseason play. And once we get into the postseason, anything can happen. It's been 5 years since SEU's made the playoffs, and we've never won a playoff game. So those are our goals, and I think we're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but the kids are really working that direction.
Well, in this digital age, I like to remind everyone each and every year, you can still be a fan of Florida State or Florida or Miami. But you can record those games. Right. There is really good football here, and a lot of times the misconception is if you're not Division I, you shouldn't. Division I's where it's at. That is just not true,
Nope.
And it doesn't work for everybody. And there is quality football from Division I all the way to Division III to NAIA.
I knew what you meant.
JUCO, all of it,
right.
and we've seen it from Warner, Weber, and certainly Southeastern.
Yeah, I agree. Small college football in Florida is a really good product, and especially at SEU where the game day atmosphere is second to none. We have a wonderful stadium. There's flames shooting out of the scoreboard. There's food trucks. It's just a really good environment and a good vibe, and it's good football as well. I mean, we have a number of Division I and Division II transfers playing for us. So, and the high school kids we've signed from the area are really, really good players. So. We're excited about what we have to offer.
We were talking about off air, Larry Bird went to Indiana and it was too big for him, and so he transferred to Indiana State where I went, but that worked out pretty well for him.
That's
so
right.
there are those success stories, and again, it's got to be a good fit fit for the institution, but it's got to be a good fit for the player. And a lot of players have, like you said, found Southeastern to be that good fit.
Absolutely. Our starting quarterback last year, he transferred from Florida International. He was a Division I player where he wasn't getting a lot of playing time. He wanted to play his senior year. He came, was our starting quarterback, and then had a great year and was able to get a free agent tryout with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Wow.
So we tell our kids all the time, if you dream of playing in the pros, that's possible from SEU as well.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us, and good luck this season.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we can have you back on right before you head into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sounds great. We'll be here.
If you enjoyed this interview and want to watch more Sports Central, click the video below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.